first I want to say that please don't judge me by the standards of speech that you just heard. Deepak is a wonderful individual. I am so grateful that he could make it here. Also, I am very happy that he is not planning on writing a textbook similar to this for India. Now, I mean, with Deepak, Ajit, and so many eminent people here, for me, I'm truly honored to say a few words here, and I think the occasion needs me to do that, and that's why I'm here to say that. There's very little I can say that is, for a lot of you, you are already experts in this area. You know far more about management education than I do. So I'll keep myself limited to about 5 minutes. And then after that, we'll have a message that from Professor Noel Capon, who is a co-author in this book. We'll play it here. So broadly, I mean, I'm trying to link the two things, which is what is the, how is the context today for management education, and why did we feel that this sort of book is needed, and what do I mean by this sort of book? So first, clearly the market is changing. None of you need introduction to that. It's changing very fast. If you talk about there are newer things coming in, for example, you have green products, social media marketing, and lots of things coming now and then, even in basic things like promotions. You have got daily deals getting introduced, growing at more than 300% every year. So if you look at all these changes, our job is to prepare students so that when they go out into the marketplace, they immediately hit the ground running. But if you observe teaching, it changes much more slowly. So for us, if you see, they observe there's a gap between what we teach and prepare our students for and what they find in the marketplace. There's this gap which is increasing. And that's where Noel and I felt that maybe there is something we could do to contribute to solving the problem in India, in a little way. So what are schools doing about it? I'll only touch upon very broadly 1 or 2 points. So if you look at schools, one is they are revising curriculum. We are adding new courses like, for example, business ethics. We are integrating some new material into courses that already exist, sometimes in an ad hoc way, sometimes completely integrated, for example, digital marketing and so on. The other is how do you deliver that content? Now within this, ISB has been at the forefront. For example, we have a whole center for teaching, learning and case development, where we are looking at flipped classroom. We have experimented with this, where essentially you reverse the classroom and you bring in what traditionally students would do at home, like assignments and other kinds of work, into the class and take the lectures outside through video and other sources. So we are doing that. We are changing our courses to encourage engagement in class. So we have cases, discussions, more of those exercises in class and so on. So essentially these are the two things that schools are doing, we particularly. But here is one gap that still remains. In any course, the textbook forms the core of the class. It is the backbone over which a lot of these things are built. This textbook has remained largely unchanged. So you find same old textbooks. We have done some things, but broadly it remains the same. Now, what are the issues with textbooks? Here are some of them. I'll quickly go through that within the time limit. So one is, essentially these textbooks are dead between editions. For example, if you have, say, a case on Project Shakti or something else, any topic, between 2 editions, it remains the same. Look at the context which is changing very, very fast. How does a student who looks at a particular case after 6 months of the edition coming out integrate all the extra material into that learning? That is a big problem. Now, the second issue is primary focus on theory. A lot of good textbooks out there focus on theory. They teach you all about marketing, for example, but once a student comes out in the marketplace, a big challenge that we observe is the student feels, how do I apply these to practice, where the environment is rapidly changing. So that's a big challenge. Limited content is another one. A textbook is fixed. Once it's there, you don't know how to add or subtract from it. Student engagement. I mean, we have been students. I will confess that I wasn't always enthusiastic about going out and reading textbooks. So that's an issue. And finally, access is an issue. You have this textbook, you carry it around. Electronic formats are something that's coming up to improve this. So these are some of the broad categories of issues. Not comprehensive, but pretty much covers most of the issues. When we looked at this, we said, let us create a product. See, there are very good books out there. Have no doubts about it. Like Deepak mentioned, Kotler's book, and I will say this, that a lot of, in fact, most of what I learned as a researcher was from Deepak. I mean, I joined Kellogg, he was my professor, and I was all starry-eyed. He was an associate dean at that time, that he would accept me as a student. I worked very hard with him. And he's also a co-author of Kotler, and I was, by the way, I was a teaching assistant of Kotler in one of his, research assistant, and helped him in one of his books. So I know he's a wonderful writer. There are many other very, very good writers out there. So this is not a criticism or anything of anyone. It's a different perspective we bring in. So when we look at all those, we felt, is there a need that we could address and provide better value to students? And then we realized that this is something we could do. So how we addressed all these limitations consciously in this book to provide superior value was, first, dead between editions. In our textbook, we have a lot of multimedia content. That means links to videos, links to in-depth material outside. As a specific example, let's say you are learning about customer lifetime value in the book. Some students might want to know more. So we have O codes provided where any handheld device can be used to scan that code, and it takes a student to online content of several pages that actually shows how you derive the formula. There are video links. When you click, it takes you to an online video that could be an hour long that talks about customer lifetime value or any such topic. I'm just picking one. So essentially, when we talk about textbook, the concept of textbook is changing. It's not just one book that you carry in your bag. It is the whole ecosystem of online and offline content that we are providing. So in this, that takes care of a lot of things like limited content being current. So we can update the links in real time or every month or every few weeks to bring additional material into the book to keep it current. That keeps the book alive. The second differentiating factor is we are looking at application. So a lot of books focus on theory. We focus completely on application, where we start with the theory and then show students how to apply it into practice. We build very strong bridges to practice, and in fact the marketing toolkit is entirely geared towards that, which comes with the book. So these are essentially two books in one. Student engagement, we have case studies, interesting Indian examples, and something that we are doing new, which has, in fact, I suspect this is new globally in textbooks. We are developing simulations that come with the textbook, where students can then actually go off online and read other content and then actually apply them. They are part of the book. So far, textbooks have avoided simulations. These are separate entities, but we are integrating them into the textbook. That is something completely new. Wiley has said if it works in India, fine, they will take this concept globally. So this is something we are doing it as pioneers here. Again, access, it will be available in electronic format, textbook format, a regular format, and so on. So overall, there are several things we have done to take a small step to sort of address this gap in the system that we have. It's focused on India. It's very comprehensive. If you like number of pages, when you read most of them, just remember it was really hard. So focus on India, and it's in sync with current developments. I'll stop here. Thank you so much for coming here. What we'll do is, we have a video from Noel, and he wrote to me specially, please watch the background. He took in efforts to get an Indian painting from somewhere. So we'll play it here. Thank you.